It was a rainy night. Dark clouds roared across the sky as if someone was shouting in anger. The streets were empty, the wind was cold and wet, and an eerie silence hovered in the air. In the middle of that darkness, Taimoor drove his car quietly, alone, carrying a storm inside his heart. His mind was full of questions, pain, and shattered dreams. He had just argued with his wife, Samra, and left the house to clear his thoughts. But fate never follows a straight path. The rain suddenly grew heavier. Fog covered the road, visibility dropped, and then suddenly, Taimoor saw a girl standing on the roadside, alone, soaked to the bone, shivering. Rain clung to her hair, sticking them to her face. She raised her hand, signaling him to stop, like someone holding on to their last hope. Taimoor hit the brakes immediately. When the car stopped, something in his heart stirred. The girl walked toward the door, fear and helplessness shining clearly in her eyes. "Please, give me a lift, I can't stay here alone," she said, her voice trembling, yet holding a strange kind of courage. Taimoor unlocked the door. "Get in. What are you doing out here? It's dangerous at this hour." The moment she sat inside, she broke into tears. "My name is Resham, I was going home, but my car broke down. My phone battery died, and some men were following me." Taimoor looked at her closely, not extremely beautiful, but soft, innocent, and exhausted. Her eyes held fear, and that fear proved she wasn't lying. "Don't worry," he assured her. "You're safe now, I'll drop you home." But Resham shook her head. "I can't go home right now, what if those men are waiting there? I need a safe place for one night, just one night, then I'll leave." Taimoor stared at her, stunned. "You want me to keep you somewhere?" Tears shimmered in her eyes. "If you allow, can I stay at your house for one night?" That night, that one decision, was going to change both of their lives forever. Taimoor drove through the stormy night, his heart filled with confusion and curiosity. He kept glancing at Resham, who sat silently, drenched and trembling. Her fingers clutched the seat belt tightly as if she feared the darkness behind them might still follow. The city lights were fading behind them while the lonely roads ahead were swallowed by fog. After a long pause, Taimoor finally asked, "Resham, do you want to tell me what really happened?" She hesitated, looked out the window, and whispered, "I don't want to be a burden, but I was terrified. The way those men chased me, I thought tonight might be my last night alive." Her voice cracked. Taimoor slowed the car a bit. "You're not a burden, and I won't let anything happen to you." His tone was calm, yet firm, something Resham hadn't heard from anyone in a very long time. Minutes later, they reached Taimoor's house. It was a peaceful, quiet place, far away from noise and danger. But the silence inside the house held its own story, the emptiness, the cold distance between him and Samra, and the loneliness that lived in every corner. When Resham stepped inside, she looked around nervously. Are you sure I'm not causing trouble?" Taimoor nodded. "It's fine, you needed help, and I could help. That's all." He brought her a towel and a long shirt to change into. She took them gratefully, her hands slightly shaking. "Thank you, really. I don't know how to repay you." "You don't have to," he said. After she came out changed, she looked different, still fragile, still scared, but calmer. The oversized shirt made her look even smaller, even more vulnerable. Taimoor made tea for both of them. As she took the warm cup in her hands, her eyes softened. "This feels like the first safe moment I've had in months." "What do you mean?" Taimoor asked, gently. Resham took a long breath. "My life hasn't been normal for a long time. I wanted to trust someone today, and for some reason, my heart trusted you." Taimoor wasn't used to hearing such fragile honesty. "Rest for tonight," he said. "We'll talk tomorrow." But the night had other plans. As Taimoor walked toward the living room to rest on the sofa, Resham followed him quietly. "You're sleeping here, not in your room." Taimoor hesitated for a moment. "My wife, Samra, she left 2 days ago after an argument." Resham's eyes widened with silent sympathy. "I'm sorry, I didn't know." "It's fine," he said, forcing a faint smile. "Some things just fall apart." A heavy silence settled between them. Resham spoke softly. "Sometimes, when everything breaks, something new begins." Her words struck deeper than she intended. For a moment, both stood quietly, lost in their own wounded worlds. Before going to her room, Resham turned and said, "Taimoor, thank you for giving me a night of safety." Taimoor looked at her, not knowing why her words touched him more than they should have. "Good night, Resham." "Good night," she whispered. But neither of them knew that this night was not the end. It was the beginning of something far more complicated. Night grew deeper, and silence wrapped the house like a blanket. Resham lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling. Shadows moved on the walls as the wind pressed against the windows. Every sound reminded her of danger, every knock of the window felt like footsteps approaching. Her thoughts were tangled, heavy, fear of the past, uncertainty of the future, and the strange safety she felt under Taimoor's roof. On the other side of the house, Taimoor sat on the sofa, trying to close his eyes, but sleep refused to come. He kept remembering Resham's trembling voice, her wet hair, her frightened eyes. Something inside him was uneasy, like the universe had thrown him into a situation he wasn't prepared for. After almost an hour, he heard soft footsteps. Resham appeared at the edge of the living room. "Taimoor, are you awake?" He sat up immediately. "Yes. Is everything okay?" She shook her head. "No, I'm scared, I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I hear their voices." Her hands were cold, trembling slightly. Taimoor stood up gently. "You're safe here, Resham. Nobody can enter this house." "I know," she whispered, "but my mind won't believe it." Taimoor could see the fear carved deep in her eyes. "Sit," he said softly. She sat on the corner of the sofa, wrapping her arms around herself as if trying to stop her shaking. A long silence passed before she finally spoke again. "Taimoor, can I tell you something?" "Of course." She swallowed hard. "You must be thinking I'm a strange girl, showing up in the middle of the night, begging for shelter, but I wasn't always like this." Taimoor didn't interrupt, he just listened. Resham continued slowly, "I used to be happy. I had dreams, plans, everything. But life doesn't ask before ruining people. I trusted someone who only knew how to break me." Her voice cracked, tears pooled in her eyes. Taimoor's chest tightened. "You don't have to talk about it tonight if it hurts you." "No," she said quickly, wiping her tears. "I've kept it inside for too long." She inhaled deeply. "I was in a marriage that looked normal from the outside, but inside, it was like living in a cage. Every word I spoke was controlled. Every step I took was monitored. He didn't treat me like a wife, more like a possession." Taimoor clenched his jaw. "Why didn't you leave?" She laughed bitterly. "Where would I go? Who would believe me? Everyone told me to compromise. It happens in marriage, they said. But pain is not marriage." Taimoor looked away for a moment, remembering his own failing relationship. He knew how love could turn into emptiness. Resham continued, her voice trembling. "And then, tonight happened. I heard him on a call, talking about selling me. Like I was nothing, like I was an object. I ran, I didn't think, I just ran." Taimoor felt anger rise inside him, rage at the man who had pushed her into terror, and rage at a world that stayed silent. "You did the right thing," he said firmly. "You chose life." She looked at him with a mix of gratitude and vulnerability. "You saved me, Taimoor. Not just physically, but here." She touched her chest lightly. A moment hung in the air, quiet, delicate, dangerous. The wind outside howled louder. A branch hit the window, making Resham jump. Taimoor gently placed a hand on her arm. "Don't be afraid, I'm here." His touch was light, respectful, warm. Resham didn't pull away. For the first time in months, she felt human. After a long pause, she whispered, "Can I stay here, near you, for a little while? I don't want to be alone in that room." Taimoor didn't hesitate. "You can stay." She sat beside him, closer than before. Not touching, but close enough to feel safe. Silence settled again, this time softer, warmer. Resham's head slowly leaned against the side of the sofa. Her breathing calmed. Sleep began pulling her down. Taimoor watched her quietly, her fragile peace, her exhausted face, her trust. It stirred something deep in him, something he didn't understand yet, something he wasn't ready to name. He pulled a blanket over her carefully. As she slept, one single thought echoed in Taimoor's mind. Why did it feel like this girl, this stranger, had walked into his life exactly when he needed someone to? Outside, the storm continued. Inside, a different storm was rising, quiet, emotional, dangerous. This night still had more to reveal. In the stillness of the last hours of the night, both Taimoor and Resham sat in separate rooms, lost in their own worlds. The rain had finally stopped, but the cold wind still moved quietly against the windows, carrying the lingering chill of the storm. It felt as if even the universe was waiting to see how their story would end. Taimoor's mind was a whirlwind of questions. Was Resham really running from criminals? Had she brought him into trouble? And the biggest question, was this night just an accident, or fate's carefully planned twist? But in Resham's mind, a completely different battle was raging. She held the muffler in her hands, the same muffler Taimoor had given her in the rain. Every time her fingers touched its warm fabric, something inside her softened. She kept asking herself why an unknown man could show such kindness. People rarely show this kindness even to their own family. Suddenly, there was a soft knock on the door. Resham stiffened for a moment, then slowly stood up. Taimoor stood at the door. "You haven't slept?" he asked gently. Resham lowered her gaze and shook her head. "I can't sleep, I'm scared they'll come back." Taimoor stepped inside. "If you want, I can sit here for a while. You're not alone. Nobody can harm you now." Resham sat down slowly. Taimoor pulled a chair near her and sat as well. The room was silent, so silent that the beating of their hearts could be heard. After a long pause, Resham finally spoke. "Taimoor, can I tell you the truth?" Taimoor looked at her, surprised. "What do you mean?" Resham took a deep breath. "I hid something from you. The men who were chasing me, they aren't strangers. One of them was my own husband. And the other two were his friends." Taimoor straightened in shock. "Your husband, then you." Tears welled in Resham's eyes. "He was going to sell me, to pay off his debts. He was taking me to a man that night. I tried to run, and right then I saw your car. If I hadn't gotten into your car, I might not be alive today." Taimoor's face showed anger, sorrow, disbelief, all at once. How can a man do that to his own wife? Resham's voice trembled. "To him, I'm nothing but a body, a price, a trade. Love, respect, these words don't exist for him." For the first time, Taimoor looked at Resham with a feeling he hadn't felt before. She was like a wounded bird, delicate, terrified, and desperately needing shelter. "You're safe here," he said softly. "No one will ever hurt you again. Not while I'm standing here." Resham's eyes softened. "You've helped me in a way nobody ever has. Whatever advice you give, I'll follow. For the first time in my life, I'm trusting someone." Taimoor suddenly felt the emptiness in his own life. His relationship with Samra was broken, his home lacked love, peace, everything. But Resham, she had entered his life like a truth, like warmth, like a refuge sent at the right time. Resham hesitated, then asked, "If I divorce my husband, can I start my life again?" "Of course," Taimoor answered immediately. "You have every right. No woman is a slave. No woman is an object to be sold. You are human, and you deserve to live." For the first time, a faint smile touched Resham's lips. "Will you guide me? I'm alone. I don't know where to go." Taimoor replied tenderly, "You're not alone. Tomorrow morning, I'll file your case. The law is on your side. And as for your safety, leave that to me." Resham held the muffler close to her chest, as if it were something precious. Suddenly, they both jumped. The sound of a car stopping outside cut through the silence. Then a heavy knock. Taimoor stood up sharply. Who could it be at this hour? Resham's face turned pale. "It's them. They found me." The knock came again, louder, angrier. "Taimoor, open the door. We know the girl is inside." The voice was dripping with rage and wicked intent. Taimoor looked at Resham. "Don't be scared. I'm here." He grabbed his phone and called the police while the men outside began trying to break the door. "Give us the girl or we'll burn the house down." Fury rose in Taimoor's chest. "This is my house. You have no power here. Get lost." But they didn't stop. Resham hid in the corner, trembling. Taimoor covered her protectively. Within 3 minutes, the sound of police sirens echoed. 2 police cars arrived and arrested the men immediately. Resham's husband was handcuffed, his face filled with anger and madness. He screamed, "Resham, you're mine. You can't run from me." For the first time, Resham spoke with strength. "I am a human being, not your property. From today onwards, I have nothing to do with you." Taimoor stood beside her. "It's over. You're free now." Resham broke into tears. "I'm free, but where will I go now?" Taimoor wiped her tears with gentle patience. "You can go wherever you want. But if you want, this house is open for you. You can stay here as long as you need. I'm with you." Resham whispered, trembling. "Can one night's shelter become a new life?" Taimoor smiled softly. "Sometimes, one night changes everything." Morning sunlight entered the room, scattering the darkness, like a new beginning. Resham looked up at Taimoor. It felt like fear had finally turned into hope. And in that moment, both realized. The night was over, but their story was just beginning.